People generally don't care about your topology, nor do they care about the details the camera won't see. Greetings and a good evening. Welcome to climbing the mountain of animation. We are the Atarangi, and we will be your guide today.
Alright, before you all get mad in the comments, yes, topology does matter. But mostly when you plan to edit a building or reuse parts of it later. It could also matter if you would like to use your buildings in game engines or for physics simulations. And of course, if you have many of them, unoptimized buildings could increase render times or prevent you from rendering at all.
Now let's look at actually making some buildings. The way I see it, there's two main methods to making buildings. The first method here, I call block modeling. It's where you take a cube and use insets and extrusions to create a building. It's fast and easy, but detailing gets hard quick and maintaining proper topology is quite hard. And then we have parts modeling. This is where you build your building part by part, making the walls, the beams, roofs, and so on separately. And then you put them together. This method is slow initially, but grants you access to higher level detail and modularity, possibly even using the likes of geometry nodes to automate your buildings.
Now you might be wondering, well, random internet person, which one should I use? And the answer is very simple.
Both. Both is good.
No, really. Mixing up these two and knowing which to use when is going to make your art look better in the long run. It also means you will get to the end result faster than if you were just using parts modeling.
Alright, I'll take it from here. Have a look at this scene here, from our A City of Many Voices video. For this scene I used blocks that make up one story of a building. Look behind you. These are the blocks I used. These are just cubes with different windows inset or extruded. I'll show you in real time. Alright, so for block modeling you need two things. A big block of tofu to show you what a human scale is. This block of tofu is the size of a human, as you can see in the dimensions. And a block, which I happened to have scaled into the correct height to be a building. So let's get going. Yeah, I can go with that. I'll need the pie tool. Let's add some loop cuts. And by don't invert. By insetting these, and then let's see, let's extrude in. There we go. Let's extrude a bit less in actually. So let's do that again. In case you're wondering which keys I'm pressing, I've got screencast keys happening right there so you can read what's happening. Another inset. Let's scale that one on the Z. And we can do another inset. And extrude that in. You can add some lazy window sills by selecting these bottom parts. There's better ways to do it, but this is the lazy way. There we go, some simple window stills. And that's basically block modeling. After this you can add your materials. You would select these. Into a separate material. Let's go with this. just some concrete. There we go. An extremely simple block model. You probably want your window sills to be a separate material. And you can add more details. I'm just showing you the basics here. We can use arrays to turn these into towers. But if we have a bunch of these, it gets very monotone. So we can mix up the materials, add facades, or even custom bottom floors like this. After this I made some more of these blocks. Some I added parts to, like pillars and fences, to add detail. Many of these were used in the Progress music video. In this one I also added the simple transform modifier to some of the buildings. Look here to see the effect. I also used some big frames to put the buildings into, like these. Reusing parts like this can drastically speed up your workflow. Hell, this building from Progress is an aluminum extrusion, scaled up with bits added to it. The fence on the balcony are also aluminum extrusions. And this castle is made out of this support piece. Let's go more parts placed. Hey, pay attention. Am I too slow for you? Here's a time lapse of me making a row house to keep your attention whilst I explain more about this house I made. I made the floors, the walls, the roofs, supports and extra details. You should probably do it in that order. Okay, now let's have a closer look at some of these parts. For the windows, adding an inset like this helps with the look, cause, well, glass doesn't just stick into your walls now, does it? Also add window stills. They exist. For an old-timey look, you can add a grid to your glass like this. I'll show you how to get those later. You can detail the roof with shingles. I used a Bag of Pie add-on for this, but you can just do it manually. I'll show you. Alright, roof tiles. Grab yourself a cube. Lots of different ways to do this. So grab yourself anything you want, really. I'm grabbing a cube though. I like cubes. Add some loop cuts. Scale along the Y. What? Yeah, go up a bit. Grab this face. Extrude a bit. Add a subdivision surface. A simple one first. This is not the proper way to make one of these tiles, but I'm just quick modeling. Do as I say, not as I do. There we go, a simple tile. After that you add an array. With a bit of offset on the Z. And a bit of overlap like this. And you can just make a roof. And then you add a second array. We don't need that to go that way. Whoops, I teleported my tiles. And there you go, you got a roof. But Klaus, I need this to be on a different angle. Well, either you angle it like this, or if you need the tiles to be angled relative to each other, you can rotate the model like this. Then change the offset on this one. And there you go. That's the basics of making a roof. Actually, whilst we're here, let me show you how to do a window in one of them walls. This is a human-sized tofu, so we can see how big our wall needs to be. This way. Walls are thin. Let's make them thin. Now the quickest way to add a window into a wall segment like this is to just grab the front and the back plane, inset, make it whatever size you want your window to be. Delete the faces. After that, go into edge mode. You can fill up the hole with F for fill. I know you can quick key this, but I don't bother. I like doing it this way. There you go. You can select the inside of this. I to insert, E to extrude. Let's do extrude along face normals. Like this. Extrude along face normals. I've got a window frame. Then you just add in a plane. There you go, that's your glass. A simple window. Let's add a windowsill. We'll do a lazy one, because that's what I am. One windowsill. And to add one of them grids, if you've added them to your library, it's real easy. Just grab a grid. I'm in edit mode, grab a grid. Grab all of the grids apparently. Then make it part of the object.
Yes, yes, it
Cut that.
No,
Editing Barry, cut this.
no, but at least there's beaver.
Just grab one of your grids. Scale it to the size. It's all shown in a tutorial I'll show you later how to get these grids. Rotate it the correct way. And you just make sure that the grid slightly clips through the window. And you line it up in a way that you find pleasant. Make sure it's poking through in both directions. There you go. Should probably move up a bit so it's more symmetrical. And there we go. Can add some quick materials, I guess. Just a metal for the grates usually works. And there you go, that's a simple wall piece. I showed you oversimplified techniques here, but you can go very advanced with these. I'm sure you can find better tutorial men than I am. Back to you, RoboClaus. Alright, that's that. Every part you made can be reused and adapted to make more buildings, and that's my time-lapse done. Barry, talk about your temple. I'm tired, it's your turn.
Okay. In classic Barry fashion, I jumped into this project with barely any research. We had an example build that we imported from Minecraft. This helped us know roughly what we wanted, scaling wise and all that. This was my second major Blender project after all. I ended up going with parts modeling because I wanted to be able to make animations with this building. The bottom floor, or at least the walls of the bottom floor, consist of 3 parts. This way we can hide the walls to have easier camera access. And I ended up using this method for the rest of the building because, well, I was already going with it. And I'm glad, because this made getting complex shapes like the roof supports much easier. Now there's a lot of wooden planks under the floorboards and as roof supports. Most of these are just an arrayed version of the model. However, some of them, especially the roof support ones, differ in length, so these are separate models. The doors, stairs and railings took a while to get right, and a lot of work also went into the textures, as our asset library wasn't as big yet. However, some parts of this building have been used time and time again, like this roof support. It's been a building, a table, and possibly many other things. This is one of the advantages of this building method. You know, reduce, reuse, recycle. By removing or adding walls, I can make the side buildings roof terraces or proper rooms. And technically, it is also possible to adapt this building to have 0 to 4 side buildings, pretty easily, since it is all modular. With the original Minecraft build as a guide, good references and a bit of understanding of gravity and building methods, I was able to bring this one to a good end. I would, however, like to make a couple of tweaks to this building. For example, I am not that much of a fan of the roofs. Do not get me wrong, they don't look bad. But I would like to use shingles. The building doesn't have those yet because it hasn't been worth the time investment. It isn't as simple as using an arrayed model since there's curves in the roof. I would also like to further optimize the topology, now that I have a better understanding of it. And lastly, I have had the privilege to get closer, hands-on references, so technically I could improve accuracy here and there. These are things that are not a focus for now though, as I would like to get the rest of the island of Aozuki finished up. I can always redo the building at the end of this project, since for now it is good enough to pass.
Alright, before we round off, let's go over some resources. As mentioned, I used Bagapie for the tiles. I believe it's in the free version here. Artisan's Vault has a good tutorial too, in case you don't want to get Bagapie. Let's see. I mentioned the grids for the windows, you can find them here. And Inventia here has lots of tricks for simple block modeling. There are many GeoNodes buildings. I'll list 2 tutorials here. There's plenty of paid tools too, if you want them. Here's some tools you can use outside of Blender to help with the process. This is the tool we use to export our Minecraft build, and Townscaper here can export models, as seen in our Jazzy Port video. If you wanna get ahead of us, we're gonna be working on some Gothic stuff. Here are the videos I plan to use for that. I think that covers it. Barry, take it away.
As we continue to climb this mountain, we will update you on our later discoveries in the field of buildings and architecture. We have to get to a more Gothic style at some point, right Kowalski? But for now, we hope you learned something or enjoyed this video. We will continue on our journey and hope you will too. Until next time.